The views, opinions, and wild ramblings expressed on this podcast are strictly those of our hosts and do not reflect the thoughts, values, or overly serious policies of their employers, sponsors, advertisers, or anyone with a legal team. All scenarios we discuss are based on past experiences, most of which we barely survived, and have nothing to do with any of our current jobs or employers. Basically, don't sue us. We're just here for the laughs, not the lawsuits.
Welcome to the Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR, the podcast where we blend workplace drama, HR nightmares, and a way too much oversharing into one wildly inappropriate package.
Your hosts, they're a real dream team. First, we have Mama Mel, the HR queen with a knack for keeping it real and breaking the rules when nobody's looking.
Heavy on the no one's looking.
Next, we have Dr. Green, the one with all the fancy-ass degrees and the questionable sense of humor.
E equals MC squared.
Such a nerd. I'm the Big Llama. I come for the big laughs, the bigger opinions, and absolutely zero filter, because I don't even know what that word means. And last but not least, we've got Jake from HR. He's not wearing any khakis, and it's questionable if he's even wearing pants, but he is here to ensure that we're breaking HR guidelines just for fun.
I'm always here to judge.
So buckle up, grab your handbook, maybe a cocktail, and join us as we figure out HR one awkward scenario at a time.
All right, welcome everyone to Just Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR podcast, where today we're going to be talking about Fire Me Gently, the Ballad of Becky, the scandalous edition.
Fire Me Gently. Eey. It can go so many ways.
I was going to say, it could go so many ways, just like we could fire Jake from HR roughly. You know, I'm sure he'd appreciate that one.
But Fire Me Gently, like, is that, and just so that I am clear in my thought process, is that like we know we're gonna fire you, or like you're on your way out? I don't know, like clarify, because that's
well, there's okay, number one, you should always fire with a sense of decorum. Don't fire people with no sense of who you are as a person and who they are as a person. We don't just fire to go, you know what, you're fired, I'm done with you, get out. That's not how we do it. We do it with a sense of like, hey, unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go. It should always be as smooth and simple as it should be. It should never be drawn out. It should never be harsh. And I think that you can always put something harshly in a soft way. Jake, you know what you did with that baler machine. You shouldn't have done that. So unfortunately, even though you were playing chicken with it, we are going to go ahead and let you go.
Yeah, don't laugh at him and say you're fired.
Yes, please. If you ever listen to any of our previous episodes, and you get to the one about the baler, Jake will tell you about the one where he laughed as he was saying, go ahead, go home. I'm not saying you're fired, but I'm pretty sure you are.
Yeah, exactly.
In my defense, I wasn't in HR at that time, so I have.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Good point. Good point.
So he's threatening to fire people without HR's approval. That's good. That's good.
There it is.
Yes.
No, but you know something, and I guess we will talk through the scenarios. But I honestly will tell you, in organizations that I have a good, foothold in, they're not surprised when they get fired. Like the people that if you go through, I wouldn't say it's my prescribed system, right? But if you work with me, the people who you let go are not surprised, because if you've done it the right way and you've done the counseling sessions and you've done all those things, they kind of get it. When you call them in the final time, they're just like, I know what this is for. Thank you. I appreciate the time. And it literally is in and out, and there's no discussion. Now, the different ones are the ones where like you have an investigation, or it's like they violated one of the cardinal sins of the the office. But I think that those are harder to deal with, honestly, because sometimes people make mistakes. But for the most part, most firings I've been a part of, they know, and it's not a mean thing. And I'm not nasty. I'm very respectful, but it's like, why you're here, and it's time to go. And they just go, I'm out. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Which is weird to be thanked on a firing, but it does happen.
It definitely happens. It happened at one organization where this guy like literally berated one of his peers, made him seem like he was better than this other guy, and basically just talked down to him, treated him like crap. And then finally I got tired of listening to it. And I said, look, dude, do it again, or there are going to be consequences. Didn't believe me. And I said, all right. Called his boss. His boss said, do what you got to do. I said, all right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And when I was letting the guy go, I explained to him as I'm saying, hey, you did this, this, and this. If this was you, would you appreciate it? His answer was, of course, no. And so once I explained all that to him, he was done. He said, thank you. I appreciate it. And then let him go. Then he ended up working at Target. So I thought it was really funny after that. But, because then I literally still had to see the person. I could just not see him at work. Then I had to see him at Target too. So I was like, ugh. That's actually
a good topic for another night. When you fire someone and you see them in public, what do you do?
That's a good topic.
Depends on how the termination went.
I know what I'm saying. I get nervous about that.
The next time they see you, they're what are they speeding in the parking lot, telling you that you're number one? Is that
exactly?
Look, I know Big Mama said this is for another podcast, but I really did go into a restaurant and sit down, and my waiter was someone that I fired.
Oh no, you get up and go.
We didn't eat there. We didn't eat there. We're like, oh, we just remembered we had a meeting to go to. Darn.
Just knew that there was gonna be some extra seasoning just for you.
Listen. I ran into an old friend of mine, and I didn't recognize him from high school when I was out. This literally just happened last weekend. And he's like, Llama, but not Llama. He said my real name. And I looked over, and I like the thoughts that crossed my mind is, I fired you. I let you go. I gave you a package, something. And then he goes, from high school. And I'm like, oh. I talked to my wife right after. She goes, I swore that he was the guy that you fired. I go, that's how terrible my wife thinks I am. It's people who call my name out in public. It's people I fired. Oh.
My wife witnessed me do that. Like I was at the kitchen counter and I was on the phone, and it was like 9:30 at night. I was tired. I wanted to get through it. I had to inform someone that they were not going to be working for us because their background check came back pretty bad. And I thought second degree attempted murder was a pretty obvious one. Mama Mel was just like, screw that. I'm not listening to this. I'm out.
She didn't want to be incriminated. That's why
she would be incriminated. That's right. So of course, I said, hey, look, unfortunately, due to your background, we're going to let you go. My wife stares at me in like shock and awe and just books it for the bedroom. And I'm like, what? So as I was saying, we're going to go ahead and let you go. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But outside of that, you can email me at blah, 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 at whatever.com. I get off the phone. I go into the bedroom. I'm like, are you okay? She goes, I can't believe you just fired someone right in front of me. Like, I'm just sitting here texting the family going, Chad just fired someone in front of me in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, honey, you don't know. Apparently, you don't know what we do. Half the time is some dumb things like that. Like, hey, you know what you did on your background. So why did you even? You're not going to work for a federal institution if you have second degree attempted murder on your background. Please, no, thank you. So I digress. Let's kick into the Becky story and the scandal. Of course, names have been changed. Story has been written to be a little bit different so that we can make sure that we are not giving any pertinent information away. And then, of course, our whole entire team is going to be involved today into this nice little scandal. And of course, Big Llama has changed his background. Very disappointing because I was all about that life for that Big Llama show. If you have not seen the Big Llama show, please hit our buddy up. Go look at the Big Llama show.
Yeah, it's how we were born.
It's how true. We would not have what we have today if it wouldn't have been for the Big Llama. Y'all would not know that he does all the extra work for us. So I'll say this out loud in front of everyone. We truly appreciate you, Big Llama, for all that you do for us and getting us here on the air. And I can't say how much I truly appreciate you. So snaps for Big Llama.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ray, you're number one, buddy. Number one.
Okay, so anyways.
I think I'm the one that's supposed to start the story, right?
Well, hold on. It says...
Hold the phone.
Where the policies are optional, the tea is hot, and today's lesson is don't fire Becky. Just let her fade into legend status.
Keep doing that.
And of course, now it is Mama Mel's turn to
chuckle.
You got to chuckle there, Mama Mel, as she's going in and out of the,
Wait, I'll do it for her. Chuckling.
We'll let you read that there, Big Llama, and then Jake can do his part. Too funny.
Hold on. I can't. This
anytime, forget it.
Anytime that Jake does the reading of the emotion of the feeling, I even though I know he's doing it on purpose now, he wasn't before, but I can't help but laugh.
Chuckle.
Listen, this might be a Mama Mel-less episode. She does not want to stay on.
She doesn't want to be a part of this. She's like, nope, I'm not part of this Becky story.
She only joins when it gets good.
Right. It's like, so okay.
Go ahead, Big Llama.
So again, after the chuckling, we're talking about the soft quit, right? The silent termination, and one woman who perfected both. And you know who we're talking about. It is Becky, or as we refer to her in HR, the final warning. Did Mama Mel come back and leave again? Oh my God.
Like, forget this.
I hate you guys.
She can turn off her camera and just stay in audio if she wants to.
I think so.
We'll see.
All right, Jake, take it away.
Okay. So picture this. It's Monday morning. Becky strolls into the office. 30 minutes late. She's got her oatmeal latte and the energy of someone who is already emotionally checked out. Her Slack status: do not disturb unless you're the IRS or Beyonce.
Oh. I mean,
come on, Beyonce. Valid. Come on, get some.
Honestly, really valid. That's valid.
Hold on. Beyonce, if you were listening to this, please reach out to Big Llama. We would love to have you on the podcast.
Yes, interrupt.
The IRS, we do not ever want you on this podcast.
No, IRS, no. Beyonce, yes, because Beyonce, you are my hall pass. I love
it. She's hall pass.
She's not gonna say you should have put a ring on it. She's gonna say you should have put a pip on it.
Pip on it. First, I thought you said pimp. I need to put a pimp on it. Wait, what?
HR related pip.
Pip. Yep. If you like it, then you should have put a pip on it. I like that.
Hi, Dr. Green.
Okay. So, Mama Mel, glad you're back for whatever limited time that you are. So then, as we know, Becky, she starts using new PTO categories like existential crisis and personal branding day. Well, of course, we flagged it, but I wasn't going to stop her. I was a little low key impressed on how she was doing those things.
Oh man, There's now okay, so I think it's a known phenomenon, right? About the different PTO categories because people use them now, younger people, not old people like me. But they just can't today. They can't deal with today. They are going through something. Like it's just weird. It's the reasons that people will not show up to work now versus then is completely different, and it's interesting. Existential crisis, personal branding day. Those all seem like new legit reasons. I wish I could use them.
New legit reasons.
I'm trying to stay hip, guys. Legit is my word.
We're gonna let Mama Mel read the rest of that part.
Sorry, guys. I'm like, am I here or am I gone?
You're here.
For now.
Turns out, Becky just. Am I here or am I gone?
You're here.
You're here.
Oh, God, it's gonna be one of those nights for me. It turns out Becky wasn't just quitting. She was building a side empire. Aside from her Etsy account, she also started a TikTok account called @HR_Unhinged.
Oh. And that's what
that's where she disappears. Mama Mel went unhinged and on out.
I'll take over. She created that HR Unhinged account where she shared fictional stories about her job. Fictional, my HR certified butt. One video said, day 47 of not being fired, even though I accidentally submitted the CEO's birthday party invoice as a severance package.
Oh,
we checked. It happened.
Oh,
damn. First of all, that's diabolical. A severance pack, like that's Becky knows how to really put on the petty. Like that's Tom Petty. Tom Petty's daughter right there.
That's Mason Pettiano right there.
I'm telling you.
I don't think I'm that devious.
No, that's again diabolical. I don't know how you would think to submit the invoice as a severance package. That shit's crazy.
Well, first of all, what was the invoice dollar amount? That would impress me more.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, if it's a severance package,
well,
that's a lot of money.
It says the CEO's birthday. I know how much I spent on my basic children that are not CEOs.
Basic? Oh, gosh. That's
They're-
straight up true.
Remember, the CEO's birthday is celebrated in every office. We're buying cake and pizza in every office in honor of the CEO's birthday.
You know they spend more money on the CEO. They're not going to get that cake over at that local retail store that we won't mention by name that sells everything. They're going over there to Nothing But Cakes. And then they're going over and getting some scented candles. Hey, I love me some Nothing But Cakes.
I'm about to say, you better leave Nothing But Cakes alone.
Oh, I love them.
That is legit.
I'm having a squirrel moment only because you say CEO's birthday. Can we just stop normalizing purchasing expensive gifts for your boss that makes 7 times more than you? Like, can we stop normalizing that shit? Like, okay, so for example, we collected a ton of money. Like I was asked for money, collected it, and the gift again, the gift for the boss was somewhere in excess of $500. It was some crazy number for like a one gift. And I'm like, y'all get me a $20 Amazon gift card for my birthday. I'm forking over $20 to $25 and we're giving the boss $500 glasses and like, no. This is not right. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think if I'm in a leadership position, one, I don't want an extravagant gift and I don't expect it. And then if you guys do that, I'm mortified because I know how much I make and I know how much you make. Like, I can afford it. I don't know.
It's completely unethical, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think you need to remember that you got to pay taxes on those gifts.
No, not. Well, I pay taxes on the gift card I got for my birthday.
Wait, hold on. You're right. No, you're right.
I
as
did.
long as it doesn't come from the company. If it comes from the company, you have to pay taxes on. Anything that's over $25, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, they just charge you for everything. But again, I got a gift card from the company. Nobody else collected money. Nobody else put money together and said, "Oh, let's get Llama a nice gift." Nah, the $20 gift card from Amazon is what I got. I enjoyed it. I loved it. It's great. But I forked over $20 to $25 for the boss's gift. All of us did that. Like, nah, that's just not right. So, Mama Mel, you missed it. Where I just said, can we stop normalizing buying the boss big ass gifts? They can afford it. And when they make 7 or 8 times more than you, it's stupid. At least my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts on that.
No, I agree 100%. And also, then you turn into the douche that doesn't want to, and nobody really cares about like what you have going on at home. If you can afford it, if you can't, people don't care about that. You're automatically seen as the douche that didn't want to pitch in for the boss's gift, and you know somebody's gonna rat your ass out. Somebody's gonna go tell her like, you know, Dr. Green didn't pitch in for your gift.
He's got to pay for that PhD.
That's right.
Dr. Green's like, he's like the odd man out.
Yeah, I'm too poor. I'm having to pay for the PhD. You got it.
Yeah.
Look, I have, again, this is old age. I've normalized this shit. You come to me, my kids know this, and if they're listening, I hope they're listening. Charity starts at home. I say it every time, and I go, nah, thank you, but no thanks. I'll sign the card if you want me to. Like I will. But, I am straight up. I am straight up. If the person is a good person, and I feel like they deserve it, absolutely, I'll chip in. But I'm chipping in when I can chip in. Like I'm on a budget. Like I'm sorry. For those of you in podcast world who listen to this, you think we're making money off this shit? No, we're still working. We're still working regular jobs. I'm on a budget. No, I'm not going to give my hard-earned cash to someone, one, I don't like, right, on their birthday, and 2, because sometimes it's just not. I can't afford to. So I'll be the douche guy. I don't care. Call me Summer's Eve.
Big Llama, if you really, really want to be a douche, you'll put an IOU in.
That's good. That's good.
No.
Except my birthday is July 3rd, just for all you people who are stalkers. So I expect a card from you, Big Llama, with your signature on it, and I'll know how much you like me if you put a gift card in there or not.
I like you. I like you, Dr. Green. It's gonna be butterflies flying out of the bitch. Flies and butterflies.
I got to use that to feed my family with that gift card to Chili's because being a broke PhD. Anyways,
sorry.
I feel like out of the 4 screens, the family that's the most profitable is on the bottom left.
Yeah, I think so. You got a doctor, a practitioner,
But you basically have 2 doctors in a house. I'm over here married to somebody in the military. We know they get paid terribly.
You know he gets paid good. He's at the top of the heap, baby.
Hey, I'm married to a school teacher, so we're on a budget.
We're trying to get donations for crayons and markers for you, okay?
Exactly.
Let's do a drive for the teachers. Well, and look, hey, and if y'all don't know this, we have some people who's and correct me if I'm wrong, but a police officer of some sorts.
Law enforcement.
There you go.
Yeah, you can just.
We know they get paid as well as teachers.
Well, think about it. Earlier when Llama was talking about when you run into people that you fire, we're in an extra sensitive. We gotta watch for the landmines when we go out. When you arrest half of our town and you fire half of the town.
Oh Jesus!
I was thinking that, and I was like, damn, you really do walk on eggshells when we're out there. Somebody sees us and we're like, well, I gotta tell him like I fired her. I fired him.
Just move. Just move.
Yeah, it's time to go.
I have another topic, and it's a little bit on the dark side that we can parking lot it. We can put it in the parking lot for later. If you were murdered tomorrow, what would your suspect pool look like?
Oh Jesus, I like that. I like that. Put it on the list.
Okay.
Put it on the list,
please, because I have so many stories of one girl who threatened me. But anyways, back to the other girl, Becky. That was her first scandal, was being Becky the influencer, with all of her like taking the CEO's birthday party invoices, severance package. We talked about how petty that was. And so now we're going to go to scandal number 2, the intern incident.
So, all right. So we have an intern. We're going to talk about her. And, Becky told her that she was the chief culture architect, whatever that means, and convinced her to plan Wellness Wednesdays.
Jake right here. This is Jake. All Jake right here.
This is Dr. Green. It's all yours.
Oh, no. I meant what's about to happen, not that part. But
we are college educated people. Thank you.
Wellness Wednesday consisted of some crazy things. This is why I said this is all Jake right here. It consisted of aura readings, interpretive dances, yoga, and cucumber lemon water, and a goat.
And no one knows where the goat came from, but all we know
knows where the goat came from
is that it was expensed as emotional support services.
First of all, you take your aura readings and you get that brujeria out of here. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that.
I would be down to do some goat yoga. I've never done goat yoga. I want to try goat yoga.
Goat yoga is
fun.
But yeah, the Santeria, the aura readings, your brujeria, your Ouija boards, get all that stuff out of here. I don't want tarot cards. I want none of that.
Exit. Now.
We need to make sure that we give Jake his future on what it's going to look like and how Alex is going to murder him.
This is not admissible in court as evidence, I guess.
No, but like for real. Okay, if you've ever been in any of those wellness, I want to call this wellness. What was we did? The employee engagement person.
Right.
The employee engagement person is like, oh, we need to band together, get the, bring everyone together. And we're like, okay, cool. That's great for on-site. Sure. But then when you have like 20 people in one small room where it's already hot and you're on yoga mats and you're trying to stretch and talk about downward dogs and whatever.
And the goats in your ear,
And the goats in your ear going, meh. Like you don't want to smell it or hear it. And so, yeah, no. So poor Becky was just giving this poor intern a run for her money and just causing all sorts of drama.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lost goat. We have a lost goat in the office. So
HR knew about it and did nothing.
Exactly. Becky's doing everything.
I was going to say, there's a lot of layers to Becky here.
Yeah.
Oh, Becky has so many scandals. And this next one that will pique your interest goes to our buddy, Jake. It's called the Phantom Client Meetings. Scandal number 3.
Scandal number 3. Picture this. It's Thursday morning, and Becky always has client meetings Thursday mornings, most likely from 8 o'clock in the morning until noon. A little bit of a problem, though. The business she works for doesn't directly service the client, so she has no clients.
Because she was working for our competitor using our Zoom account. The audacity. And you know what she called it? Cross-functional learning.
She was practicing her entrepreneurial skills.
See, this what is it? This grinds my gears, right?
Burns my biscuits, baby.
I was
Burn
about
my-
to say, burn to your biscuit.
It just, I don't see a problem. Like if you have to make a print for something personal, I get that, but like you can't use a ream of paper, like and all the ink, and you really shouldn't be using the, like taking meetings or running your operations from your office space. You got to have a little bit more decorum than that. That's all.
Listen, I had the opportunity to facilitate a termination for one of my peers at some point in my very early career, right? Super unethical to do because this person was my peer. But I was tasked to, do the termination conversation, walk them out, and then clean out their office.
Ooh.
Yeah, we found some questionable things, but we also found that she was running her second business from there, which was her real estate business.
Ooh.
She had
Dang.
an entire filing cabinet of just files and files and files of homes that she had closed on, homes that were pending, like people that were new applicants. And I was like, okay, so then I go back, right? So one of the reasons that she was let go was because she was often unavailable. People couldn't find her. She wasn't in the office.
Too busy selling the mansions.
And then it made sense. I'm like, this girl was running a whole business from her 9 to 5.
And I bet y'all gave her all that information, didn't y'all? Because you printed that with company ink on company paper. That is company property. I would have
burnt every single one of them. Actually, first I would have called every single one of them first. Hey, by the way, did you know that your real estate agent was double dipping, playing you and playing us like a fiddle?
Wow.
Yeah, no. Well, so my question for this one was, how long did this person work at the organization before it was found out?
She had been working there longer than I had. And this was I was probably in my 7th month with this company.
So she'd been there for about a year.
She had been there for about, I would say maybe 5 to 7-ish years. I don't know how far back she was doing it, but there was documents that were dated 2 years prior.
It has to be a lot, though. Because you said you had a whole filing cabinet full.
An entire filing cabinet. I was like, whoa, girl.
You know what? I'm going to give her props for just coming to work.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yes.
I had an employee for over 3 months at a previous employer. They had the ability to clock in and out on their cell phones as long as they were on the company Wi-Fi. Over 3 months, this girl was coming to work, clocking in, leaving, going to another job, then coming back at dinner shift, clocking out, and going home.
Dang, that's ballsy.
At least your real estate agent was coming to the building.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Well, no, yours was too.
Well, no. Hers stayed. Hers was available if I walked into her office. Ours, how do you have an employee for 3 months and you didn't know they haven't been at work for 3 months?
What kind of what quality of work are they performing?
I know who this employee is. Not directly. I'm just saying. Yeah. Okay. Let's do some visualization. Let's think about our offices, our office spaces, right? There's always one employee where you're thinking, what the fuck do they do?
Yeah.
There's always one. There's always one. And you go, what do they do? And no one can answer that question. They just know that the person shows up, they do some work, and they leave. And so the person gets lost in the shuffle. The smart ones figure that out. Like, hey, no one even knows what I do here. So might as well, update this. I've seen this. I don't know. I don't think it has a name, but I'm telling you, every single person has that one employee. Nobody knows what they do, and I'm telling you, they're running a multi-level marketing scheme in that office. I'm telling you. They
have that their title is Chief Culture Architect. That's their
exactly.
title.
Oh no, and they have some weird ambiguous title too. It's like, oh yeah, they're procurement lead. We don't have a purchasing department. Well, they're the procurement lead. I don't know. That's what this says.
Part of me taking the HR mindset out of it, part of me looks at it like when your kids do something really bad, but you're a little bit impressed.
Exactly.
It's like, I am so angry with you. But tell me how you did that. I'm intrigued. I'm impressed. But you're fired. But before you clean out your desk, let's walk through how you set this up. It's like
let's teach me the ways of the laziness and get away with this. So my question would be is when I worked with Jake, how did you get away with it, Jake? For so long.
No. Stop it.
Yeah, those are the resumes that you look at when those people get in their 30s and 40s, and that's who they are. That's just who they are with every company they work for.
Yep.
You'll see the trend on their resumes where it's every 1 to 2 years, maybe 3, depending on the company they work for, the industry they're in, where they've never been with a company for more than X amount of years. Never.
Hey.
No, I'm not talking about the intermittent ones. We all have those on our resume. I'm talking about that one person that's had 15 jobs and not like every single one of those jobs like clockwork. 1.5 years, 1.5 years, 1.5 years, 1.5, like to the T. It's like, that's Becky.
Becky was getting caught after 1.5 years, but I guarantee you she was getting that 401k at the same time. So my question would be is Becky's at this one job for 1.5 years, but she's also at her other job for 1.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Which one does she put on her resume? Just saying.
Whichever one made her the most money and gave her the most skills.
Yeah. You know, people and I've seen this now. People cherry pick their resumes nowadays, and they just go, okay, this one makes sense for this job, and this one. And again, let's just call it what it is. You know, Skynet AI is taking over, so I'm going to be really nice to them. But ChatGPT, you can actually, we're getting more and more resumes that are actually tailored to your job descriptions. Like,
and that's because that's what they're being taught. That's what they're.
But what I'm saying is, you got to see it. As a recruiter, as an HR person, you got to start recognizing this. Like nobody's resume should fit the exact criteria of the job that you posted. There should be some variance there. There could be some things that you bring up as a topic, and that's a good, smart way to use AI. But damn, like some of these like match to the T, like your job description.
Like 100%. Yeah.
So again, we it's great. It's a great tool, but you gotta know how to use it, right? How to wield it.
So speaking of how to use things, let's talk about the final straw, and then I'll talk about vanishing into thin air. So go ahead, talk about what Becky's final straw was.
So Becky's final act of corporate mischief and defiance. She submitted a reimbursement request for a freaking team building event. Team building. Couple issues with that. One, she did it at an escape room, and to make things more awkward, she went by herself. Yep, and then she included the receipt for reimbursement, which involved 2 glasses of wine and a Venmo labeled emotional labor.
I have to touch on something about I think it was it the last podcast or the one before about emotional labor near Big Llama's house.
Ooh, the body talk.
The body talk.
The sports bar.
Sports bar.
So the TBT, the body talk. The sports bar, the TBT sports bar. My question for Big Llama would that be the final straw for you? Was Becky showing up at the TBT?
If any receipt has the TBT on it, you're fired on the spot. Your judgment is questioned and confirmed, and you are fired. immediately.
That's his Baylor story. He's just going to look at it and start laughing and go, "You're fired. You're fired."
Actually, I will FaceTime all of you and go, look at this. Will you look at this? Look at this. Body talk, team building.
We're gonna get called in about a year, and we're gonna be like, "Why is Kenny calling us?" And all we hear is
right.
Yeah, Big Llama. Just make sure they know that their insurances get into the end of the month, and we highly recommend that they have a battery of tests done before that insurance goes out.
Exactly.
If you need a local doctor, please go find one near the body talk.
Actually, I will hand them a package of penicillin and say, "God be with you. You're fired."
God be with you. They will need it. They will need that blessing, my friend. They will need it.
Please go confess your sins. Go see a priest. You're gonna need one. Get a priest. You're gonna need an exorcism. You need something. You should do the body talk. That's it. You're done.
But what if Becky was hungry and thought that was the only place she could get her buffet at?
Well, I will say. Okay, hold on. If we're talking about
a buffet, but I don't know that.
Yeah, well,
hold on. I need to defend Becky here because I almost took my kids to a strip club once because all it said on the outside was all you can eat buffet.
Oh,
that's all it said. All you can eat buffet. Thankfully, I'm a smart parent, and I sat in the car and Googled the restaurant, and I'm like, "Oh no, we can't go have the buffet there. We're going next door to Peter Piper's Pizza."
Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper.
Peter Piper sounds like a place you don't go with kids.
They had great reviews on their buffet, though.
They usually do.
It might be
It could have been an innocent mistake if they were not a productive parent.
Look, so if we see kids coming out of a strip club one day, then we'll know that they were probably Jake's kids.
Well, we don't know if they've went all the way in. Okay,
no,
it could have made a mistake.
I Googled in the car. I don't ever go into a place until I Google, and I got to get those reviews.
Although if I can clear my name, there is an expense report out there that says that I was on a solo mission. I was on a solo trip, and I have a receipt that I turned in that says dinner for 4. I just wanted some ribs and chicken.
Did you order for 4?
I didn't know it was a meal for 4. It just said the big meal. And that's like, that's what I want. It included ribs and chicken. And it was this really nice, not really nice, but it's like the known barbecue place. And I had never had it. I'm like, I'm on the company dime. Might as well go for the big meal. And when I looked at the receipt, it said meal for 4.
So your receipt fat shamed you.
My receipt fat shamed me, and my boss fat shamed me because he's like, "What was this? Meal for 4?"
He said, "Big Llama, you know we don't reimburse for relatives." Like,
right? I'm like, I was like, it was just me. You can tell because I only had one drink. It was one lemonade. So like, okay, like you know, who's splitting the lemonade 4 ways? Nobody.
Was it lemonade or was it lemonade?
No, it was lemonade, man.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I enjoyed that meal. It was a meal for 4. I had all the sides. I ate that bad boy because I knew I was going to be embarrassed by it the next day. So I ate the whole thing shamefully in my hotel room.
I swiped my credit card a few months ago at a restaurant for a company meal, and it took me 2 months to get the credit card company to relabel it because they kept saying it was a bar. So it flagged it.
Yeah.
I'm like, things happen. Don't be quick to judge.
Okay. So this is not a sad story. It's actually a very I was being innocent story. Years ago.
Last week.
Crawfish.
I hate both of y'all. No.
One of us is right.
Neither one. But this is years ago. I was traveling a lot between 2 campuses, and I went to stay the night in one city that was 4 hours away, And I did. And I stayed at the Hilton. It's where I got my love for the Hilton hotels. Yes, shout out Hilton Hotel. Loved you. Still love you.
We're looking for sponsorship.
Yeah,
Hilton.
sponsorship. That's right. But anyways, so I stayed there like 3 or 4 nights a week. So it was paid for by the organization. So you can imagine I racked up points, but I also stayed at the same exact place every single week. So they all knew me. I loved them. They loved me. It was great. Well, I would often get comped dinner. So, the company is paying for it. So I felt like a jerk if I didn't like leave a tip, because you're always supposed to leave a tip, at least in this case. So I tell them like charge me for a Coke or something. And I'd leave this was well over 10 years ago. So I would leave like $8 or $9 for a Coke, even though I know that they just made me a freaking $20 meal that was comped.
Big tipper over here.
So I felt bad because then, of course, I put it on the company, and the company come back and be like, so wait, you got a $1 Coke and you gave them an $8, $9 tip? And I'm like, yes, because my meal was free. And they're like, well, we're not going to pay for it. Fine. If you don't want to pay for it, I'll pay for it. It's not that big a deal. I was like, they
didn't read the policy because it says the percentage to the bill.
It didn't in this organization, so I knew better. It took me a while, but I got my money back, so it wasn't really a big deal. But at that point, I started carrying cash so that I wouldn't have to worry about it for those things and just, do that.
Yeah. I always hated the tipping policy, which is like a very specific number. I'm like, so I would
great jobs. So I got to give them freaking 20%. What if they did 30% worthy, or what if they only did 10% worthy?
No, I think our company was 15%.
But if you take more than 6 people out, which I've done numerous times, that gratuity is more than what our policy is.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure.
It is. And that's why you put it on the company credit card instead of reimbursement. But anyways, so back to poor old Becky here,
Not
Becky's
poor Becky.
expensing her emotional labor at the strip club, apparently. We're going to tell you about the vanishing piece of Becky. One day, Becky was just gone. And laptop was gone.
Oh, she took equipment.
Oh, she did. And the chair was even still warm. And we verified by Jake sitting in it. And Jake said, yep, it's still warm and it still smells. So, what about her out of office reply?
Wait, you're smelling the chair?
Ask Jake. Jake knows way too well about this. But the out of office reply said, I have chosen peace. Please redirect all questions to your inner self.
Oh.
She didn't quit. She didn't get fired.
Nope.
She just ascended.
Everybody. Sorry.
Best yet, she's still in the system 3 months later, and we haven't found her.
She's still active?
Oh, it's because you're scared to deactivate her. I mean, what if she comes back? What if you deactivate her and she goes, oh shit, and then she just shows up all of a sudden?
What if she took leave? She might be on a protected leave.
Ooh, she might be in a witness protection program.
That's not covered under protected leave.
That's a FITGA with the Government Act.
Oh. Wait,
FWGA.
Becky
I still think, no. But the unmitigated gall of this woman. I have chosen peace. Please redirect all the questions to your inner self. Get the hell out! Like that. That's insulting.
But I think part of me, even though I wouldn't legitimately do it, part of me would want to steal that to hypothetically use it.
Same.
I would put it like on a Facebook post, not at work, but I would put it on Facebook.
If it was my last day, yes. I would totally do that. I'd make sure I emailed so many people just so I got a response.
My response anytime someone comes to me and says, "Hey, Jake, I got a question. Did you ask your inner self first?" We're choosing peace today. We're choosing peace today.
Which, what is it people say? The opposite of that? Oh, I woke up and chose violence today.
I woke up and chose violence.
You chose a throw punch today.
I was
what it
just
is.
gonna say
Merch!
throw punch.
Merch!
Merch.
Still waiting for the merch on the throat punch shirt.
But let's customize it. It's not I woke up and chose violence. It's I woke up and chose a throat punch.
That's it.
Woke up and
That's it.
chose a throat punch. And so, what did we learn?
Sometimes HR doesn't fire you. Sometimes
Right.
they just let you drift into that Microsoft Teams void.
Yeah. Or they stop paying you, like the guy in Office Space. I hope you get the picture.
I could just burn this shit down. Nobody knows.
Not look, dead serious. Am I the only one that's had a few situations where someone's come back to work after like a few weeks or a few months later and they're like, "Why have I been fired?"
Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm like,
Dude.
"You haven't been at work and we've called you and your phone's disconnected.
Dude, listen.
You didn't say nothing."
Why are you in my head? I had that same scenario, the exact scenario, but because again, the company I was working for was client based. They termed the person from the client, which in turn terminates you from the company, but they didn't know that. So they took a little break and showed back up, and they still had their badge. Of course, we did not deactivate it. So the person shows up in my office and is like, "Hey, I'm no longer working on this particular client.
Where am I working today?
Where am I working today?"
At unemployment.
I had to break the news. I'm like, "Did they not tell you were fired from you're separated completely from the company?" He's like, "No, they just told me I wasn't gonna work for this client and I'm done." I'm like, "They technically terminated you." I said, "Have you been using your benefits?" He's like, "Yeah, everything still worked."
Oh, and you would think that system would trigger, which most systems, they trigger other systems.
Right.
That's the way they're set up. But this person got lucky. Like, dang. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because that's on the company, and that insurance company will, because when you go back and process the termination date, the company's going to be liable for all that money.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's crazy. You said it, and I thought of the exact person. I'm like, oh my God, this happened to me.
Have y'all ever had, and this has just been something I've had to deal with, but you're about to fire someone, or they're put their 2 weeks notice on it, whatever it is, and it's radio silence. Everyone to that person, radio silence. If they know about it, nobody's talking to Becky. Nobody's saying a damn word to Becky.
Oh God, yes.
And if you're about to fire Becky on Friday and it's Monday, you're avoiding Becky, aren't you? You're not saying a word to her because you don't want to slip up, or honestly, Becky figures it out by Thursday going, shit, nobody's talked to me. Nobody, it's been really quiet. So then they go to HR and they say, hey, nobody's talking to me. Not even my own boss, not even the CEO, not even HR. And then you have to be like, I don't know.
Wait. But have you ever had an entire department cleared on your behalf? Because I have.
On your behalf, please give explanation.
Yeah, elaborate.
So as I was the deliverer of packages of the big package to say goodbye to the company, I did that for a year. And I was good at it. Not proud of that, but when it was my turn, because they were downsizing, I showed up to the office, and none of my colleagues were in the office. The entire group was told to work remotely that day. The entire group. So
Oh,
I
know what you're
walked
talking about, yeah.
into an empty office, empty cubicles, and even the people who were outside of our department who sat like in a like they worked remotely. Like they cleared like even another department's area. So I got there not knowing anything. I had a meeting, I don't know, an hour into my shift. It was weird that nobody was there, but I was like, yeah, maybe they're in a meeting, maybe, because we were always running around to meetings. Yeah, I come to find out that they cleared the office because they wanted to give me my package to say thank you for 20 years. And they didn't want anybody there when I was cleaning my desk.
It was for you?
It was for me.
Dang,
I was like,
that's cold.
That is straight up cold. Like, I don't want to tell nobody, but I hate that. Like, look, if you're letting me go,
or is it cold or is it thoughtful to you? I don't know if I'm translating that the way
I feel like it would. I'm gonna go with thoughtful. I'm gonna go with thoughtful. No, I mean I'm gonna be the
person though.
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here because they could have done you so much dirtier. They could have made you clean out your desk in front of the peers. They could have went and cleaned out your desk for you in front of your peers. That makes it. They could have been like, look. I'm not going to go down the whole story, but I have been let go from a company once before in my life, and they made me drive an hour away to another facility to let me know I was being fired, and then I had to be driven home.
Fired or let go?
I was fired.
Wow.
Let go, fired.
I told you to leave the Baylor alone.
No, this is like, good God, decades ago. But
decades. He's not even that old.
But I'm saying they could have done so much. They could have done you so much dirtier. While you could look at all the things that could have been better or have better ways for them to do it, I think that was one of the best ways that a company could have done something.
No. I would have.
Like they gave you the privacy to. No, you don't. Nobody wants to be the guy walking out with their little box and belongings. Like, that's so uncomfortable to watch. Like, even as people, even as us, right? That we're in HR, we know when terminations are coming. They're uncomfortable, guys. I had to term a girl on her birthday one time. But let me give you context because it's funny. It was my birthday the day before, so my coworkers filled up my office with like latex balloons, right? You know, when you leave latex sitting for like a night or two, it starts to smell.
The
right?
balloon murderer comes out.
Yeah, right. So, and I'm talking about like long streamers with balloons hanging, like it was ridiculous. She walks into my office and I have to let her go. And all I remember is she was very emotional. She cried. But the smell the smell of latex in my office haunts me to this day. But it was embarrassing. But even though we know that's coming, audience, right? Terminations,
they're terrible.
They don't get easier.
No.
Sometimes you're like, you know what? You fuck around and find out. Like this is you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. This was coming for you. But there are other times where we may not recommend a termination. The opposite side or our partners decide that they're still going to go through with a termination. And if we work for a company where we have to do the termination, we have to do it. And it's uncomfortable because number one, we don't agree, but it's hard, especially when they've been with us for so long. So I kind of am siding with Jake, where I think they were a little kinder to you in clearing everybody out. I mean, you can look at it either way, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at it optimistically.
I want to say an opposite. I want to say opposite. I'll tell you why. Who the hell wants to drive to work just to get fired?
I commuted 60 minutes that day.
No, see, no. Look, if it
No,
was
but
down the road, literally, if it was at
yeah, exactly.
the nasty, the throat, the TBT, the what's it called again?
Oh,
Yes.
the body talk.
The body talk. Then yeah, sure, fire me and like clear the whole strip club out and let me go. Sure, fine. But
Apparently,
I
it's
don't
not hard
want to
to
have
do
to
that.
drive to. But like going an hour away to get, because we told everybody, hey, y'all stay home. No, the easiest thing would have been done to do was not save all these other people an hour's worth of drive. Make them burn and spend money for the economy. Don't make me do it when you're letting me go. Okay, just tell me work from home and then let me go. Don't make me drive an hour.
So two more points of clarification, just so that you can deal with this what you want, right? But one, I was mad at my homies, who I thought were my homies, for not at least giving me a heads up. And I get it. I get it. They're not supposed to tell you. I get that. I respect them for not telling me, but at the same time, dude, I thought you were my buddy. You're gonna tell me that everyone's working from home and I'm the one coming in. Okay, thanks. But I was set to, the reason that I was given the package, I was set to go back to my old department. I was transferring to another department. So I was very excited about that day. I went in thinking, here's the start of my new time or going back to my old department. I'm really excited. I'm going to talk to my friends and get my old desk back. I was so excited to meet and like get through and that's why I didn't think anything of it, because my boss was supposed to meet with me first thing in the morning to kind of give me the rundown of what to expect and where am I going and who's I'm going to be reporting to, because things have changed. And I'm like, so I was just like not thinking anything of it. And all of a sudden it was like, boom, can you come with us? Like when I go to that little conference room, I walk in and there it is. There's the magic red folder that I had been handing out for a year is sitting there for me with my name on it. And I was like, oh,
who
this is how this feels. Oh, the guy who I wouldn't piss on if he was on fire. That guy.
I remember him.
Guy. I remember him.
Yeah, that guy. He's the tomato guy. The guy who eats tomatoes on the side, sliced up.
So question,
asshole.
and this is something that I've dealt with before. I was like truly in human resources. I've been in benefits and stuff like that. But have you ever gotten the message of, hey, it's HR. Can you stop by my office tomorrow? No context, no nothing. Or, hey, can you come in tomorrow and just come see me when you get a minute? All the vagues of that's going to happen. So I had my boss, or I had my the HR. I said she was messaging me like, hey, can you come in tomorrow? I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, because I was remote at the time. And I'd come back into the office every once in a while, just check in, hybrid, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, not a problem. What time do you come by? She said, 10 o'clock. I said, oh, well, I have a meeting at 10 o'clock. She's like, well, what time's your last meeting? I said, 11:30. She's like, okay, cool. Just come see me at 11:30. My smarty pants reply was, I'm not getting fired, am I? We'll just see you tomorrow at 11:30 was my response.
You didn't get an answer.
Like, I'm getting fired. Like, I knew it. I was like, I'm getting let go. And it was because when she said, we'll just see you tomorrow at 11:30, that's the part where I was like,
If there was any hesitation to the am I getting fired question, you're getting fired.
You're getting fired.
Pro tip.
And the pro tip was I later on found out that they had hired somebody 6 months prior to shadow me to take the job that they said that they were restructuring on.
Quietly
hiring. Yep. And saying that, hey, we're hiring more people to help you out. Of course, it's always the tense. And I was like, okay, sure, sounds great, cool, yep. And then 6 months later, oh, we're restructuring and eliminating your position. Oh, see, if I would have been smart at the time, like I said, I wasn't in HR. That was, as Jake from HR would say, that was decades ago. I did not realize that was a complete and total lawsuit at that point when you said that you're restructuring and my position's being eliminated, but then you give that person who's been here for 6 months my exact title, my exact position, the exact thing I was doing. I should have known better, but I didn't. I was young and dumb decades ago.
Decades.
Did they at least get you to sign a severance package of any kind?
What the answer that I was given was, you can go ahead and file for unemployment. We're not going to contest it. And I was like, you would lose if you contested that. Like, you are restructuring. That's your fault, not mine.
Yeah.
Severance package makes the difference on that, though.
It would have, but I was young and dumb decades ago. So going to, I think Mama Mel has some thoughts before we get out of here, but talked about silent firing.
Yeah, so all of these scenarios that we talked through with Becky, right? These were all like your quiet quitting. This is when you've had enough. You're just going to quietly exit on out and do your thing, right? Direct people to ask their inner selves questions. Have you guys ever heard the term silent firing?
I have not heard it, but in looking at these notes here, I know what it looks like.
Like I have felt it.
I felt it. Like it's a weird. No one's talking to you. You're not in projects anymore. That stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great.
Yeah, I can assume. So for those of you that don't know what silent firing is, here are some of the common signs that you're being silently fired. You're all of a sudden excluded from projects or meetings that you'd normally participate in. There's a lack of feedback or communication from your manager. There isn't any raises or promotions coming your way, even though you've been performing consistently, right? There's or 11 cents, yes. Red flag. There's unreasonable workloads, either too much or too little. Often it's too much where they're trying to get you to not perform. Or you get reassigned to less meaningful tasks or roles, but essentially you're just being left out, right? I think at some point we all can assess, internally and say, okay, this may be happening. Here's what you do, right? This is a real thing. It happens because either your manager is not equipped to deliver direct feedback or direct criticism, or they just don't want to directly tell you that you're fired. There may be legal or reputational risks associated with a formal layoff. And then they want to, take care, obviously, of, financial, so severance pay and unemployment claims and things like that. But, if you experience that or you feel like that may be happening to you, document everything, please. Always, always, always CYA, document everything, interactions, Teams messages, Zoom message, like anything that if you start to notice a pattern, start keeping track for your own self. Talk to HR, right? If you feel like you're being treated unfairly, raise formal concerns, right? Get it. If you have you can't document on your own, or maybe you don't know where to start, take it to HR. Let HR do the formal documentation for you. And then, unfortunately, it's something that we also have to consider are our options. If this is happening, sometimes it's better for us to just exit on our own than be let go or be fired, because they're not going to do a layoff. Yeah. So, it sucks. Unfortunately, it's the ugly part of business. Sometimes this does happen, but please protect yourselves, right? Protect yourselves. Again, I can't stress the importance of documenting everything, every little single thing.
And one thing I will tell, and this is just, and I hate doing this because it's like, oh, you're on the side of the company, but sometimes this happens organically. Like you have become, either unproductive or you keep doing things that are just kind of slowly working. So sometimes this happens on a natural cause, like it's you don't participate well in meetings, or you are having problems with deliverables, or and the manager or leader doesn't know how necessarily to handle it. So what they do is they remove tasks from you. They're like, all right, get them off this project, move them over here. Maybe they're going to do better doing this. And what they find they end up doing is doing exactly what this silent firing is, which is you become an isolated person. You become the person who works there 2 to 3 years. No one knows what you do. So, but honestly, if it happens like that organically, you can't blame anybody but yourself, or at least, or again, it's both parties, right? The leader should be upfront and tell you what you're doing wrong, and then you should be able to sort of feel like, hey, it's not, something's going wrong here. I'm not myself, right? So I think that's great, but when it's done purposefully, that's low. That's like a low blow, and I think that's what I think Mama Mel's referring to. Like, document that, like report it, because you're being singled out. You're being removed from events and activities. You're being removed from your essential functions. So.
Yep.
Well, the one thing I want to note for the listeners, whether they're in HR or not as well, is why that's called quietly firing. A lot of times they do that to get you to quit.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And when you resign during a lot of these actionable items that are perceived as violations of EEOC or other federal and state laws, when you quit, while it's not implicit to all cases, in EEOC's case, a lot of times that takes away your ability to go after the company for the violation, because you resigned. And once you resign, it makes it 50-60% harder in some cases where the evidence might be appropriate but not as strong. So don't just quit and walk away. If they're going to fire you, let them fire you, because
And if you do quit, though, as long as you like, and you made some good points. If y'all didn't know, which y'all don't know, but Jake is over here typing things, and I'm seeing it, and you're making very good points though in this over here. Jake was talking about take snapshots, print everything off, take copies home, record conversations when the policy says it's allowed. Do that. Don't just record conversations without, make sure you know the rules. But in this case, if you do know that there's discriminations, EEO violations, PWFA violations, pregnancy violations, etc., you see where I'm going. Please make sure you have documentation that's 100% backs up with evidence and proof that they were wrong when you do quit, so that you do have a case and you're not having to worry about whatever it is. And then depending on your state, you can also get unemployment, just depending on several factors. But one of those could be one of those factors to where you would still receive unemployment because of their violation as an organization. But right. I say all that to say this. Let's wrap this up and move on, because I know we're getting to the
bewitching hour.
Bewitch. I like that one better. Jake is always like, we're getting to the top of the hour. I like the bewitching hour. Sounds better.
Or the bladder.
So, the bladder hour.
The bladder bust.
The bladder bust.
Well, we'll start with Mama Mel and go around the room. What's your words of wisdom and thoughts to leave with our audience tonight, Mama Mel?
I know I've said this before, but one of the things that I have learned from these three amazing people that I share this pod with is to learn to stand up for myself and to learn to defend myself when appropriate. So if you feel that there is a silent firing coming on, or if you just feel like you're being excluded, that's free game. Like, cover and protect yourself at all costs, right? If you have to take snippets, screenshots, record conversations. And I hesitate to say that because we know that it may be against some laws or policies, but when it comes to your individual job, There is a saying that that is very common in the Mexican household, and it translates to, if it's going to come down to you crying in your house or me crying in mine, your folks are going to be crying, not mine. And that just essentially means I'm going to do me. I'm going to take care of myself.
Can you say that in Spanish?
Sí. De que lloren en tu casa, a que lloren en la mía, que lloren en la tuya.
Oh,
That sounded so good.
me gusta.
It's a lot more powerful in Spanish. But that's essentially what translates to. But just cover yourself, be smart, be tactical, but also speak up, because it may not be silent firing. You may have just not performed well the month before, and they don't really want to trust you with this task anymore, right? They want to give it to somebody else. So it may not always be silent firing. It may just be your performance or you mess it up. So, but speak up for yourself and say, hey, I've noticed X, Y, and Z. I'd like to ask for some feedback, right? Stand up for yourself. Ask for yourself. There's nothing wrong with asking for feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Good points.
All right, Dr. Green, drop them words of wisdom.
Oh, man. There are so many different things that we can think about throughout this podcast without the hilarity that, of course, comes with all this. And Jake's luscious red lips. But
that'll make people want to go see the video. So yeah, we're on YouTube. If you want to see what he's talking about, go on YouTube.
Go and find those luscious red lips.
That's an HR violation, sir.
Thank God I don't work with you or for you.
Wait, hold on. This podcast doesn't have an HR group. We don't have HR office. No.
Who's HR to the HR podcast?
Oh my God!
Just you'll find them at the body talk. Okay, so
sorry.
But truly, I love what you said, Mel. Just because we do a lot of these things that we do in HR, whether it's firing someone or ignoring that we're about to fire someone or any of those things. All those are a lot. And I'm speaking from the HR standpoint. I'm not speaking from the person getting fired. I'm speaking from our standpoint. This is a lot. Doing these things, it doesn't ever get easier. And my wife stood up for me the other day when she said this. Somebody had said, well, why do you want to go work there? And my wife's like, well, he wants to go back to go do something better, to do something bigger, and I'm like, well, I thought he didn't like it. That's because all he was doing was firing people. No matter how many times you fire someone, it doesn't get easy. It's never going to get easy. It's because if you are there in HR to fire someone, you need to get the hell up out of my area of expertise. Get out, because you don't belong here. If you think firing is the first option or it is the only option and you're okay with doing it, then you got to go. Because this profession is about growing someone, expanding them, making them better. And we already have a hard enough time. So when I say think about it, if you're just there to fire someone and that's the only reason why you're doing this job, you got to go. Because that's not what this is for. HR is there for all sides of everything, from the organization to also the people. And if we're not there for those two things, then we're in the wrong field. So I say this with love and kindness, with much love and respect, but get the hell up out of my area, because we have people who care about both things and just want to see both of those things thrive. So take time for yourself as an HR person. Think about what you're doing and know that you're not alone in all of the pain and all the things that you're dealing with. We're here on this podcast because we've dealt with it. We've been there. We've had to emotionally go through it. So we're here to support you. Feel free to comment, like, or send Jake's Luscious Lips a message, and we will carry on.
I'm never shaving again. All right, come on, Big Llama. Give me something that's not an HR violation.
Yeah. Well, I think again, the thing about this silent firing, silent quitting, all that stuff is that you're unhappy, right? If you're silent quitting, you're unhappy, and that's no way to live, right? It's no way to sort of go about your day. I get it. We all have money. I mean, we all have bills and bills to pay. We need the money, but you have to do what makes you happy. So, I get it. I get why people do it. But on the other end of the spectrum, right? The leadership that has to do this, like, be more direct. If you're in a leadership position or if you're an HR professional, guide your leaders to be direct and to give feedback, even if it's uncomfortable. There's nothing worse than not knowing where you stand with a company, thinking everything is great, and then having the floor pulled out from underneath you. It's taken me a long time to not to tell the story of what happened to me when they, removed everybody, but I was very bitter about that story for a long time because I thought I was in good standing. And when you do like an evaluation, you think about like, was I really that bad? I was actually a pretty damn good employee for them. It was just the timing was bad, things were off, and it just didn't work out. And plus, there were budget reductions. But again, I don't know these things because I'm not told, right? And that's the thing. If I had known that these things were happening, I might have had some idea of what was going to go down. So don't surprise people, especially because you're dealing with people's livelihoods and how they pay their rent and stuff like that. So and that's the one thing. And I think it goes back to Dr. Green's point. If you're an HR professional and this doesn't bother you, if you don't get sick to your stomach or you don't get your stomach turned when you hear that you're going to have to terminate someone or demote them or whatever, if it doesn't hurt you in any way, you're in the wrong profession. Like we're not machines, and we're not meant to be. We can deal with it, and we give the illusion that we're fine with it. But it hurts. Like there's nothing like knowing I'm going to continue to receive a check and you're not. Like that is the worst feeling for anybody. So if you feel good about that, yeah, you're in the wrong profession. If you're a leader and you feel good about that, you're in the wrong. Don't be a leader. Go be an individual contributor. Go be about yourself. But this is the one true nugget of thing. I mean, we say a lot of truths in this podcast, but take that from us is like you should feel bad about it. I know you've done everything proper and people should probably deserve to get fired because they've done dumb shit. Sure. But at the end of the day, this person is not going to have money to pay for their bills. And you are, and you get to stay behind. So there's guilt there. There's just bad feelings. So take from tonight is that, yes, this was I think a pretty funny episode, but at the same time, think about the person sitting on the other side of that desk, that piece of paper. And when it happens to you, it's not fun. But it also is a learning moment for anybody. So my 2 cents there.
All right. I don't really know what I can say that y'all haven't already said. I can reword it.
Don't piggyback on it.
I know.
Just move the needle. Just make sure you're.
I know, right? Let me be the person in the room that says so much, but yet say nothing. But I do agree with y'all because whether people are quitting or they're being fired, I constantly tell supervisors and managers, unless they do something egregious that should result in immediate termination, if it's performance-based, if it's attendance-based, if the employee doesn't know the termination is coming, you have failed at your job. Because when you get to that point that you're going through the interactive process and this is that last conversation before we term the employee, that's exactly what you should say. This is the last conversation before we end your employment, before you no longer have a job. Is there any confusion? What can I do to help you? What resources can I reasonably give you? So when you sit down, like Big Llama said, if you've done your due diligence and you sit down with them, most of the time they already know it's coming. They're like, no, it's cool. I got you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. And while it sucks to have to fire someone, at least you know that you did your job. You did your due diligence. So I will just leave that note there because honestly, I mean, there's not much more you can say on the topic. So I will bring this to a close as we finish this amazing night. Remember, we all say this with much love until we call you into the office again.
Waka waka.
Yeah.
Good night. Well, that's another episode of the Four Friends Trying to Figure Out HR. We didn't solve anything, but hey, at least we tried.
And by tried, we mean we laughed, we overshared, and we probably violated some HR guidelines ourselves.
But remember, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Don't take our advice. Seriously, don't.
And if your HR manager asks, you've never heard of us or this podcast.
Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and join us the next time as we keep trying to figure out HR and fail spectacularly.
Now, go be productive, or at least pretend to be.
And tell your boss that I said hi.
Tell your mom I said hello.
Tell your daddy I said hey.
And remember, hate has no home here.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week again for a fresh round.